Okay, everybody please rise.
We got a big flag.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. Carl and Lud are not going to be here this morning, but we do have a quorum of 5. Public comment.
You're right, Gary.
Gary doesn't talk.
We don't have an audience.
Not usually.
He gets right.
These meetings aren't important to us.
Okay, well, moving on with the agenda. We'll just move on to committee reports. We'll start off with you, sir.
I think they're about ready to wrap up probation. Mark's been up there working, they've got all the holes patched and the ceiling is in. They're sanding, getting ready to paint. It looks nice up there. I had been contacted by some of the people at the courthouse to possibly look into redoing some of the bathrooms. I know the bathroom upstairs only has cold water, never has had running hot water.
And it's a slop sink.
And a slop sink, and why that's there, I asked Bob if he uses that, and he goes, well, it's only got cold water in it, so no, but it's not much use up there, so. I'm looking into having Mark look at it, see what he'd cost what he'd charge to fix the bathroom, I'd maybe put a little small water heater in there, some under sink in there.
This is in the upstairs?
The upstairs one. And I talked to Augie about it, maybe kind of that is mainly isn't that one that mainly the people that work there use? And we're kind of thinking about.
That's an unwritten thing. Employees go upstairs, public goes downstairs.
Well, but I've seen some of the guys and gals sitting around there that use it.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But we never tell anybody that they can't use it.
No.
I think we may just not advertise it as such. And, I'm not going to tell somebody that can't go. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to encourage
Put a
it.
code on it, make the executive washroom.
Yeah, we just issue a card to everybody that can use it.
Transgender.
That's
And
not,
it's the
Gary,
one
that's
hole,
not newsworthy.
Right.
All one holers are transgender bathrooms.
So while we have those
It
yet-
depends on how slow this day is, whether he
Yeah.
has to use it or not.
But Bob did, may I interject? Bob did put a closing latch on that door.
We did put a closing latch on it.
Yes, so that's completed and
And yeah.
The door didn't close before? Just kind of a.
Well,
No,
it
not
opened,
automatic.
and if you didn't pull it closed, no, it didn't.
There's actually 2 doors.
There are 2 doors there, kind of an interesting setup. So I'm gonna have Mark look into it, I'll find out, have him tell me what it'll cost. He's also kind of looking at the one downstairs in the men's. They've kind of made a mess.
I haven't been down there forever.
It's not
Yeah,
too good, and it doesn't smell very good. So.
no. That's why we go upstairs.
I don't wanna spend a lot of money, but it's somewhat of a reflection on when people come in, so.
I assume this is where we would diverge from bringing the courthouse back to its original specs. I don't imagine there was a.
Restroom in it.
Restroom.
Well, that
Well,
urinal probably is a
Well, it almost looks like it.
You know, they are talking about wanting to do some work on the outside of the courthouse. We can put the outhouses back and go with the
Lovely stone.
original.
Houses,
Lovely
classic.
stone out.
Cheers, little bit catalog.
That's a 2-holer.
Yeah, 3 hole. Grandparents had a 3 hole.
Wow, rich.
Yeah.
Lot of
Corn
kids.
cob in one corner,
Community.
2 hole big catalog the other.
All right.
All right, but we're looking at it, and I'll keep you posted. Other than that, that's good.
And
On the coroner's office, is that in the works?
Yes.
There were some
it's done.
people complaining a little bit at the hospital about it.
Yeah,
About what?
Well, the
That
ER
he's there?
docs, the ER docs don't have a place to stay when they come from Chicago.
Then they need to not complain to us, they need to complain to the hospital.
I know, I understand that. That's just a comment I
well, and I know, and it,
heard.
that was kind of a perk that they just.
Yeah, it sounded like me that it wasn't something that was used frequently.
No.
Yeah, really, one, maybe two.
2
Two that used it.
A year or just
Oh, no.
2 used it on a
No,
regular?
When they were,
We-
I mean,
See, they come in for, what, 6,
24-hour
7?
shifts. They
Yeah.
come in for 24-hour shifts.
And then they're gone, they go back
And
to
they drive to
Chicago.
Chicago, so if it's the weather's bad, they may come in a day
Stay.
early. and then they'd stay there all night. But my comment is, we have 2 of the condos at the golf course. I don't know if anybody lives in either one of them,
I think.
Right.
which would be a nice place for them to stay, but that's just my opinion, but mine doesn't count, so.
Along those,
I just, there's a bedroom that's going to remain a bedroom.
Yeah.
So if they were in a pinch, they could still use it.
Well, they didn't know that.
Well, that's under negotiation at this
Right.
point, that's why I really haven't said much.
Now, is the county paying for that, or,
We are paying for it.
okay. I don't know how it works.
And sublet it,
So,
sublet the bed.
It's, when I know a little bit more, I'm talking to different parties about different things about it. They're now finding out that it was used a little bit more than what it was
Yes.
before. I guess that's where, I don't think it's not gonna affect us using it and having it, but we're still negotiating a couple little things on it as far as on an emergency night, when maybe nurses come over. I know,
nurses don't use it.
well, the nurses have used it, I guess, I wasn't aware of
I
that.
know that.
But only on a case like when you have it, like the other night, they were forecasting the ice storm.
Mhm.
And so some of these nurses came over and they said, I need to be back here in X amount of hours. And due to law, you have to staff an ER department with X amount of nurses 24 hours a day. And so a couple of them are from out of town, and they said, well, we need a place to stay. I don't want to drive back and then not be able to get back here. And so I'm still working on that a little bit, but I think everything's fine.
My only question, and I mean, we obviously don't care if somebody would use the restroom, but is there any kind of regulation or issue about keeping the coroner's records where they can't be accessed?
He's got a locked room.
Okay,
There
so
it
he
is.
has a separate
He has
room
a
that
separate
nobody'd
room.
have to go through, so that wouldn't be an issue.
By law, you have to have it behind locked doors, and he's got a lock.
Yeah, that's
He's got a
it.
locked door that he keeps his records behind.
Okay.
There's a small office in there, so.
From my understanding, the layout is basically an apartment, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's a bedroom that was,
Two
that
bedrooms.
There's 2 bedrooms and then an office.
one bedroom would
And
be,
a common meeting area.
so is Scott gonna use one of those bedrooms for his office, or? is it-
Yes.
Okay, so still the one bedroom that could be used, we could put a lock on, so they could have a place to put their stuff and not worry about, that it's secure, right?
Right.
So, and then the communal space would still be the communal space, and then only on very rare occasions would there be some crossover where Scott would have people in there.
Very rare, like in the case of an emergency where you needed, where staff couldn't get home, that they possibly might use that
Right.
to stay in that one room only.
well,
And
he was
Scott's
talking about
situation would
other,
be
Scott's situations, where he would need it more room.
Maybe once or twice a year, you
Viewing
might
it.
have something that, yeah,
Identification, right?
Yes,
or
Not-
he said sometimes in cases of suicide, there's some issues they need to go through and work through with the family and have them there in a place that's separate, so that that apartment would fit the bill.
yeah.
So,
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Anyway.
I mean, I don't see where an ER doc would have a hard time saying, sorry, we need this for identification or whatever for an hour.
Well, the main
Absolutely.
point to remember here is that the hospital needs to say that, not us.
Right.
It's not up
Right.
to us.
Right.
And if we're renting and we're gonna have a written agreement, we'll have a space, we pay X amount a month, and they'll have pre-made these decisions or negotiated beforehand, and that's how it'll be. Cause we can't have it one way one month, another way the next
Right,
month.
And you're right. We haven't not signed
We
any
have not
document?
signed
We haven't
anything.
signed it yet, and I've got questions that Jeff and I talked about this morning as far as how we wanna, who's gonna rent it, is it the coroner, is it the county, well, I think it's the county, and just some questions that we need to answer back to them so we can finalize a contract with them.
Yes, Augie?
Oh, I was just gonna comment that I would think on any given night, there probably is a vacant room in the hospital. Patient room.
There is, they've got a place too.
Again,
That's
that's the
not for us.
hospital.
I know.
They need to determine what their needs are and make sure that their agreement with us doesn't cause them any problem.
Right.
That's all.
And if we're leasing the space, we've got first right to it, but I have no problem helping the hospital out in the
That's
community.
exactly right.
Absolutely, I mean, but we do need a set of rules
Yeah.
or guidelines.
Right.
Kind of Pirates Code guidelines, these are
Right.
just guidelines.
They're kind of doing us a favor renting it to us, in all honesty. I don't think it's not a moneymaker for them. It's kind of a community service from their standpoint.
So,
As
and we
far as I can
appreciate
see.
it, and we'll
And we'll-
cooperate with them.
We'll cooperate with them.
And
yes.
Mr. Barrett is doing a fine job,
Yeah.
and so everything will move forward. Dan,
What? Animal shelters, last time I checked, cameras still aren't working, so,
I didn't know they weren't working.
no.
Of course, I wasn't here at the last meeting,
But
have
I
you
guess-
called up Ross?
Bud went down the next day and talked to Ross, and Ross called Andrew, said I'll be out there the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning, never showed up, so.
Well, then,
So-
and maybe there was some other fires, so
um,
I don't either.
But none of them are working right now.
Carpenters and IT guys.
Yeah,
It's hard to get to.
yeah, I know. So Lud's,
Do we know as of
I'll
this
talk to-
morning, it's been 2
I don't
weeks
know.
and it's not working?
no, last week, I went out Thursday last week, I think, checked on it, they haven't working. So that's something,
So why, what happened? I mean, normally,
he just
mean, they're-
never showed up when he's supposed to show up.
no, what was the original
They never-
problem?
I don't think they ever
They
have.
never got plugged in.
They
Oh,
never
they're
got
not-
plugged in.
They never got
They
hooked
have
up.
not?
No,
Oh,
never
okay.
were.
No, they never got hooked up. We got the cameras.
Nice.
So,
According to Andrew, which I don't know much about IT, they need, all the cameras need to go into something where she can play it back. Not through the computer, so I don't know how that works. And there's
Well,
something,
no. They, like at the other places, they get plugged into the computer and it does a rotation.
okay,
It saves them for so many hours or days.
I don't know.
And
much
then you
about
can
it.
go in, they're digital, and
Yeah.
you can,
Bring up
use
your
your
picture, right.
computer screen just like a
Right.
TV screen. And you can have it split, or you can have one, well, it comes out split, and then you choose where you wanna see, and then you go from there.
very high tech. My question would be, how far away are we from being hooked up? Are the cameras sitting
Cameras
on
are
exterior walls, basically not
Cameras
wired
are
to
there.
anything?
Cameras are attached.
Copy, but are they run through the building? Are they wired?
Are they wired?
I don't know.
And
It's
some of
possible
them
they're
don't
wireless.
have to be wired.
They've
So
been in
I
for a
don't know
year or
what he
two.
put
Been
in.
in for a year at least. So,
I'm sure we can buy the high-end stuff. So,
I'll check again. Last time I heard they weren't hooked up.
Well, when I stop by the treasurer's office,
And Love was on him last week.
yeah, it sounds like Lud's fangs are coming out on this one, so I
Yeah.
would say there's probably gonna be a resolution in
Don't
the near
mess
future.
with Love. Would you take care of it?
He said he would, because I've dealt with IT
And also,
guys.
they're starting to cut the tree down on Eads and Wood Street, so I don't know
who's
doing it.
paying for that?
I think, if I understand the meeting that we had last week, they have an insurance policy that will pay, I think, $1,700 to remove the tree, but it's $1,000 deductible, and the, main
I
side
can't
said we
believe
don't
it
have the money.
takes $1,700 to remove that tree.
Need a little more than that, I would think, that's a big tree.
I had a huge oak
Yeah.
tree removed for like $450.
No, I got a tree in my backyard, the estimate on it's $850.
Well, I went north.
I went south.
Don't go
But
south.
I don't know, it doesn't
There's
look
some
like-
people that will charge you as much
Yeah,
as,
it doesn't look like a group, I mean, a company, it just looks like some people maybe doing it for the lumber or the wood. We had a bunch of wood chopped up that you put in your fireplace.
Well, and that one would get a little dicey on removing the tree, because
It's on
if
top
you
of the
don't
building,
care about
right.
tearing the house up anymore, it would be a piece of cake, and you know,
Maybe that's
that's,
the way to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
No.
well, I don't think you
They
do
might be-
either,
they
but the
call it happy
insurance, yeah.
Still,
the RV's gone.
well, off the record, it'd make a great fire, off the
Oh, yeah.
record.
Well,
Yeah,
we
before I
talked
said
about
that.
the controlled burn.
Oh, shoot, I keep forgetting about that.
We mentioned controlled
Thank you
burn, fire department.
well, that's hard to
That's
do.
all right, I didn't
So you can do that out in the country,
Yeah.
Not
So
much
that's-
anymore either.
but not much of that anymore either.
Last time I was talking to Brian, he said the fire marshals have gotten to the point where they don't even want controlled burns out in the country because
Oh, no.
asbestos, you just can't
Yeah.
get permission to
Right,
do it anymore.
it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Hell, 15, 20 years ago, you could get a permit and
Burn.
you could take care of all your problems, but
Well, is anybody in the neighborhood gonna complain and call the fire department? That's always,
Think so.
Slow walk it.
yeah.
They will if it spreads.
Do you have anything else, Dan?
No, that's,
John?
Nothing.
And now we come to Derek.
I have a lot. Do I?
You certainly can.
Okay. So, well, you know the specifics, I'll leave it to you as far as all the questions. From the airport perspective, still waiting to hear from, back from Steve on,
Steve Young.
yes, yeah, Steve Young, who is the interim head of aviation for IDOT, on any status updates of our money getting turned back on. He did get it transmitted to the proper people, which would be the counsel, legal counsel for IDOT in the Attorney General's office. Haven't heard an update other than we've got all 3 bids and starting the paperwork process to get our beacon replaced out at the airport. And I think that's it.
How much is that?
Roughly. Less than 5,000.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. Go ahead.
No.
No?
Not something just occurred.
Yes,
but that's
Dan?
personal.
my problem is I work at the hospital with security guards,
That's not your only problem.
but some of them are sheriff deputies, and there was a rumor considering one of our deputies having a lawsuit filed against
That's
him.
why we don't talk about it in open
Okay.
meetings.
That's the reason I didn't bring any names up
Okay,
or
all
anything,
right.
but that's,
We're trying to run that down.
okay.
All right.
Can I ask a question that won't violate anything on that, but
No,
I had no clue that that was how the security arrangement was.
It's
I
hard
assume
cutting out
the
Terre Haute-
hospital is hiring off-duty
No, no, no,
deputies,
no,
or
no.
are they on the,
Cutting out Terre Haute
Terre Haute.
is hiring the deputies, or whoever wants to be a security guard to come, it's 12 to 12, 12 at noon to 12 at night. Hospital has nothing to do with who's hired,
okay,
but most of the people that are hired are local sheriff deputies or police department people.
right.
Hospitals has nothing to do with who's hired.
but there's no.
But they're not
agreement
on
between-
duty for, I mean, we're
Right.
not paying them for being out there.
There is
either.
no
Okay.
agreement that we have
Okay,
with any, or the sheriff has with any other company. This is totally, but he does, the sheriff, according to contract, has to give them permission to work for somebody else.
okay,
And that has,
Absolutely, yeah.
from what I understand, the sheriff, nobody's sneaking around doing anything,
okay.
okay?
I
Does
I
that-
kind of assumed that was the arrangement, but,
Yeah. No, and as soon as we run down, I think we've got one, and this may be a second lawsuit, we'll make sure that stuff gets out to you. And I was gonna get into that here in a minute, but we've been unable to substantiate
Right.
one of the suits,
Yeah,
okay?
Just rumors, so I don't want to mention any names or anything.
No, and that's fine. I mean,
I just know.
it's public record, we just gotta
Right.
be careful how we
Right.
comment or don't comment on it, okay? That's fine, Dan.
That's fine, I just.
I have one thing that we need to consider this morning. Last week, and you guys have a copy of it, we have correspondence between Ameren and the county through Aaron about Ameren's proceeding with clearing and starting to do some marginal construction work in land that they've already got agreements with within the county. And what we need to do, and I talked to Carl about this morning, not knowing that he wasn't gonna be here, but he is the vice chairman, I talked to him briefly. And we need to, and I guess what we're doing, Carl and I are recommending that we proceed with authorizing our engineer to start negotiating on the road use agreements to protect the county. It doesn't mean that we're giving the Ameren permission or not permission to go ahead with the project, but if they're going to go out and start working in the hinterlands in the county, we have to look out for our interests in regard to the road systems.
when they're already working hot and heavy on Preston Road and have been for
Right.
a month.
Yes,
So when they're doing that, if this farmer has allowed them to be on their property, and this one hasn't, and this one has, then they're gonna have gaps, is that the way it's gonna work? Okay.
I think the lawsuit is scheduled for the end of this week is when it's
It could
supposed to
be.
be heard. 'Cause
February,
what's that?
February 9 and 10.
Okay, I knew it was coming up quick, cause I talked to
So that's for the whole,
Ogle.
whole county then, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Everybody.
there's a pre-trial conference on the 30th, and then the actual hearing is scheduled for February 9 and 10, which
Okay.
everything gets presented to the judge.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that. I knew it was coming up like you soon,
Yeah,
but I think what we need to do is, we need to, allow me or whoever to tell the engineer to start negotiating with Ameren. And these are correspondence that I've been getting over the last
Yeah, that's-
7 days. So I thought it was time to bring it back to you and, you know, it's just one of those things that we need to do to protect our interest and the county's interest in this whole project.
Even if we don't sign the road use agreement, they still.
They still can, they'll do
still
what they're gonna
be
do
responsible
anyway.
for the-
Right.
and the road use agreement's already drawn up, pretty,
Right.
I mean, I
We
assume both
just-
sides made.
Right, and a
Have
lot of
it
it's
tweaked.
controlled by state law.
Sure.
I mean, there's certain things that they have to do and not do. And then at that point, once we've done that, then that frees up the townships to go ahead and get their road use agreements with them also, so. Does anybody object to me? It's kind of an informal thing. We're not making a final decision. We're not gonna develop a road use agreement and sign it. That's still gonna come to you, and we're just gonna get it ready and go from there, okay?
They're gonna develop it, we're just not signing it till after the lawsuit.
Right, well,
yeah.
until after, well, not after,
Until
we'll have to sign it
basically done.
before the lawsuits are. We're gonna have to initiate it if they're gonna start work out there. They may start to cause us issues on the
protect-
roads.
Yeah, okay,
We gotta
Well-
protect our,
And I'm of the position that, you know, a lot of this we've done is to make our constituents comfortable with the fact that we aren't promoting this. At the same time, we all know what the actual situation is, and therefore should not be dragging our feet on this.
Right.
So, the kind of the time for that part of the theater has ended. We need to make sure
Yeah.
that not only are we in good shape to make the road use agreement happen, but also the townships not be caught in the ringers.
You said it beautifully, thank you.
and, yeah, and I don't think the constituents are going to feel that way if we start it, you know, they're.
I'd much rather field 25 phone calls from people that are upset thinking we're doing one thing and I can explain to them
Yeah.
than have us caught in the.
Right.
I've talked to several of the principals in it, and you know, they're all understanding, you know, they know what's going on, they're realistic about it, and, you know, I think they appreciate the stand we've taken to this point, but they also drive up and down the roads and understand what we've gotta do.
We just need to have a clear understanding amongst ourselves of what we're doing. And I was just saying that nothing is gonna be signed until everybody sees it and it is actually approved by this body. That's all. We'll just start the process, do the best we can, and get a document in front of you when it makes sense, okay? That's all I had. Yes.
What's the status of the rides? Can you say anything about that?
Well, you saw what was in the paper, and I got a thing from the attorneys, and basically, the clock's ticking, they had 21 days to refile something, and I haven't heard anything at this point, and I have not talked to Mark, and Mark has, the only thing I've got from Mark was the letter, transmittal letter of the airport information that was passed on by the zoning commission. That was it.
We still have the money stashed away, don't we? If we
What
have to
money?
Return it?
Oh, yeah. We're just flush.
No, I thought so.
Not.
Yeah,
No, I mean, we'll do what we have to do,
right.
and we'll deal with it. Okay? Anything else? Okay.
we don't need to go into closed session, do
Does anybody, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I was waiting for you,
Oh, yeah,
very
we got
patiently,
you.
for you to call on me.
Augie.
An update on the automatic door openers.
we? Okay, good.
I have I put that back into motion, and Randy Lansall, who Bob was working with, he's been in. He had to order a certain type of a hinge, and
You're
while
talking about in the basement?
yeah, the basement for the automatic swinging doors we got the grant for.
Yeah.
And I told him while he was at it, I would like that threshold replaced because that's all rusted out and that's nasty. And he understood. He's just waiting for a part to come in. So once we get the doors swinging the way they should and they're good to go, then we have to get an electrician in to do all the wiring. And then the door company that will come and actually install that mechanism that makes that happen.
Okay, 2 doors, I take it. It'll have to be on 2 doors there, won't it?
Yes, it will, because that's double
Double.
entry doors, if you will.
So is it gonna go like this, or is it gonna go, or is it gonna go like
We pivot in the
We
middle.
leave that up to them.
this? Is it gonna go like this?
It depends upon who's going through the door at the time.
It's advanced technology right
Yeah. So that's moving. So let's see. I don't mean to spring this on to the chairman, but
Sure.
Yeah.
I received a call from a gentleman from the Workforce 23 organization. You remember Alan was on that, and occasionally he would update us on
Yes.
what was going on with
Yes.
economic development or the workforce. Well, this guy wanted to know who we are going to appoint to fill that position.
Okay.
So,
You got a letter? Or he just came in and saw you? Okay.
anyway, I just got a phone call.
All right.
Just got a phone call. He said we need to be thinking about who it is and who the chairman of the board would like to appoint. And I said I would present that.
Oh, we got too many committees.
What's the 23 stand for? Is that 23 meetings a year?
No, you know,
23.
Edgar County, I don't know for sure, but we're county number 23, but this is a multi-county group. It's a state-funded organization, I believe, and it helps to put people to work.
Can you see how many meetings they have and get a little bit more, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
He said they do not meet very regularly, and also that this was the director would be more than happy to come to our location, sit down, go through training, briefing, education on what it's all about.
You lost me at training.
So,
What was the official name of it again?
Workforce 23, Gary, can you help me with any of that? Okay.
Google it.
That's
I
just
have,
what I
I
was
think I
thinking.
have some correspondence on it.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just never heard of it and curious.
All right. All
Well,
right.
with
You're
that
not
being-
springing it on me.
Okay, with that being said, I'll find out and put some information
We'll
in
try
your
to see
laps.
if anybody's interested at the next meeting. Might be something that Blood would be interested. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
Blood would have done.
All right.
Do they serve free meals at their meetings?
Oh, that's
You know,
right.
What are the perks?
Yeah.
Is it a $20,000 a year
Do I
job?
get a koozie or anything?
Can they find jobs for your kids? You know?
Getting out of the house?
The other thing, we've been certifying the ballot, receiving those in, and then sending them on to our vendors. So our ballot for the April 4th consolidated election is being formed as we speak. So,
It's rolling right up.
oh
isn't
boy,
it?
it's rolling around fast.
That's something else.
Yeah. Augie talking about doors, what about the one that does, you ever checked on the one?
I was thinking about that too.
Talked to Mark about that.
Okay,
Now, I talked to him about that before,
yeah.
but he,
I like the cameras.
yeah, well, no, I mean, he is finishing up. He said he's gonna finishing up in probation, and he's gonna,
Mark?
Mark said he'd go out and take a look. He goes, I think, originally I thought he said hinges, but he said, I think I
But
gotta take the
probably
door
is
off
hinges
and actually tape the bottom down.
Right, that's a metal door
It's a
though,
big,
Right.
heavy metal
so
door,
it's not, what?
You know, she hadn't complained.
It's not easy.
I thought
Well,
you were looking
she
at
had
your
complained,
nuts.
she did at one time that
Yeah.
we couldn't even open it
Yeah.
on that icy day in the winter.
I've seen that face. All right, well, yeah, we
You're
need to,
supposed to.
we need to address it. We also need to get somebody up there to spread out the,
Insulation.
yes, I can't believe that deal.
They just.
You're gonna have to have a little guy.
Stuck
Well-
up there. and didn't-
That's fine.
Yeah.
I can't get up there.
Oh,
75 years old, I can't get up there. May not be
And
good
we
now.
need to resolve that issue,
yeah, we do.
because we're wasting money with cooling and heating.
What's the deal?
We paid for insulation and they just threw it up there.
Yeah, then spread
One
it out.
pile?
Well,
Yeah, it's
well,
warm
no,
one
it's
area,
kind of
cold
all
the
around the
other.
opening, but was-
It's only about 2 feet
Yeah.
opening, that's the other problem.
it is, it's a small opening, and I mean, there's this much room up there.
Well,
can
but
fit
it
up
can
there.
still,
It can
John's
be
not
done,
very
it's-
big.
it's-
John can fit up there probably.
I was trying to hide in the corner.
Is it like blown
Is it
No, it's rolled insulation. I
we
probably-
should have blown.
I probably would have blown it in,
Yes.
given the space constraints, but.
Was this like a lowest bidder type deal to come insulate our
No,
buildings or what?
I
I
don't even
think they got an
remember.
energy grant that they could get the insulation, that would pay for the insulation, so they bought the insulation.
And stuffed
Was
it
this
up.
by energy,
Opened it up and looked up there and threw it.
This
by
is at the
energy
animal
grant, was that a
shelter?
coupon to Menards or
No,
what?
it
that's
is.
the building out by the animal shelter.
Oh, okay,
It's that
yeah,
first
yeah,
building.
I know the one you mean.
Well, regardless
It
of that
doesn't.
fact, we need to find somebody who can,
Get up there and put it in there.
maybe Don's kids can do that. Really.
Oh, you're gonna
We hired Morgan. We did nice.
Somehow we need to get that in the book too. Anything else this morning? All right. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay. Carried. We're adjourned.